Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Hope we're doing well. We are looking at an update to my video strategy for my podcast. And you're like, wow, I've been waiting for this. So have I. Glad you're here. First time visitor, welcome to the show. What do we do here? We talk podcasting. And how do we do it different than all those other podcasts about podcasting? Well, those other shows are focused on one person's opinion. And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not. So what we do here is we bring in amazing podcasters from around the podcasting world, from the global perspective, and learn from each other. And we do podcasting in community, because I believe podcasting should never be done alone. And your podcast guru should have some more insight than just their own personal bias and beliefs. So we try to do that here on the show. And if you want to come on the show and share your approach to podcasting, it may differ completely to mine, and I love it. I would love for you to come on and be a guest co-host. Let's talk about your journey, your path, your process, because the more people we can help, the better. And having you on the show would be great. So keep me in mind. I'd love to have you come on the show and be a guest co-host. When I go into Facebook groups, when I talk to podcasters, when I listen to podcasts about podcasting, video. It's what I hear. And I'm seeing camps being developed, pro video, anti-video, pro audio only, anti-audio only. I'm seeing people trying to redefine what a podcast is. I'm finding a lot of different noise around podcasting right now. And when it comes to video, some pretty passionate pleas to us as podcasters to be all in on video. Now, if that's your plan for your show, great. You're just starting out and you're not sure. I want to give you some things to consider, some alternatives, and some things maybe that'll work for your show and maybe might not work for your show. And this way, give you the opportunity to make the right choice for you and your podcast. So I'm going to unpack for you what my forward focus is for video and audio for this show and my 8 other podcasts. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I'm glad you're here. The video or not, we're going to talk about it here on the show. Welcome to the podcast. Let's get into the topic. Here we go. A podcast on YouTube is not a podcast. A still image video on YouTube is not a video. A podcast that's only available on YouTube is a podcast. A podcast must have an RSS feed to be a podcast. Podcasts are audio in nature. Podcasts started as audio only. If you don't have an RSS feed, you're not a podcaster. If I need my eyes to take in your podcast, it's not a podcast. This, on as well as many other opinions you're going to hear from gurus, from stages at podcast conferences, in podcasts about podcasting, from gurus from around the world. You're going to get a ton of different opinions, and yeah, it's very murky right now for podcasters, especially those starting out. And the last thing I want to do is frustrate you. Now, do I agree with all of those statements I just made? Well, no, not all of them, because again, there's no rules in podcasting. So when somebody stands up and says, this is a rule, then that's the opposite of what podcasting was designed to be. Podcasting from day one was meant to be a non-gate-kept approach to sharing your message with the world. How it gets there is one thing. What a podcast is a different thing. And to tie in the definition of a podcast by how it's delivered is similar to say that a movie has to be seen in a movie theater to be a movie. Well, there are less movie theaters than ever, and less people going to movie theaters than ever. So does that mean that movies are dead? What is Netflix? If a movie is a movie, Does a movie theater then define what a movie is? Or like the destination of going to a theater and having sticky floors and popcorn everywhere? Is that a movie, or is that a location to take in a movie? Is Netflix a movie-based platform? Does YouTube offer movies? Like, what is a movie then? And in that, it's not about how it's delivered, it's how the audience perceives it. And I think we're going through this thing in podcasting where there's so many voices, and we're really starting to see some of the long-term podcasters starting to go to battle against people who think differently than they do. And you'll hear it in the tone. They get snarky because somebody believes something they don't believe and is touting this to the world as this is what a podcast is, and they don't agree, so they get really snippy and they really don't like it. And I'm just finding it's really difficult to really nail down for a new podcaster what a podcast is and your approach. And the video component of all this, I think, is really kind of stirring up the water a little bit. For podcasters, long-term, new podcasters, a video approach to podcasting. What does it look like? For me, as a podcaster, I've been doing this for years, primarily audio focused, audio first, let's put it that way, where I love doing audio podcasting. I love doing the audio editing. I'm one of those weirdos that loves to do editing. It's just something that I take a lot of joy in and a lot of pride in, creating a great episode that sounds great and connects with you. That's really my thing. And I like putting little touches in here and little things that make the podcast better. So part of my video strategy for this podcast and my other shows, I have 9 altogether at this point, is how I'm going to blend in video and where it makes sense and where it doesn't make sense. Where it doesn't make sense would be my Daily Santa podcast. It's 25 episodes in a row, December 1st to December 24th. It leads you as a countdown to Christmas, and it's meant for children. It has, some of the episodes have over 20 to 30 different tracks in your audio editing software, which is sound effects, music, voices, multiple voices, and it's just an audible nightmare to create with all of these different tracks. I did it on purpose because I really wanted to play with Audacity. I wanted to test my skills and ability with editing and with sound effects and storytelling, and I wanted something for kids. This was meant to be audio only so that, well, kids are listening to it, they could be playing, they could be coloring, doing a puzzle, I don't know, doing something else that's not screen attached. As parents, anything we can do to get our kids off of those ding-dang laptops and tablets and screens is an advantage. Our kids are addicted to these little screens, and we could tape it to their foreheads. It'd probably be even easier, right? They just love their screens. So an audio-based podcast for that audience is intentional. I do want an audio experience for children through the Kids Pod app where they can listen to podcasts while they play, when they go to bed at night. They're not staring at a screen while they should be getting ready for bed, right? It's an audio-focused podcast. Will the Daily Santa podcast have a video component? Never. Why? Because that's not the intent. It's an audio-based children's podcast, beginning to end, full stop. That's it. It's an audio podcast. Okay? It's distributed through an RSS feed, which is one upload to many places reporting back with statistics. That's the beauty of an RSS. Really simple syndication. RSS. That's a really simple way to get your podcast out into the world. So through Spotify for podcasters, now creators, Captivate, Buzzsprout, there's a bunch of different places you can host your podcast. That's a distributed podcast to an RSS. It's audio. That's what a lot of people equate podcasting to be. But For all those gurus who think that audio podcasting was the beginning of podcasting, video was also in the mix early on, at the very beginning, back in the day, and video has also been a component available through RSS, just like audio, on Apple, on a bunch of different platforms where video was available and still is available today. Maybe not as prominent, but still available. So there is a way for video and audio to live together on an RSS feed. It is possible. It's always been possible and still is possible. So keep that in mind. Then came in YouTube. When YouTube walked in the door and said, you can post as many videos you want on our platform for free, people looked at paying for monthly video uploads to a hosting site, which was substantially more expensive because videos are bigger files than audio. When you upload a large file to a hosting site, you're going to get a large bill. And when they saw YouTube, they're like, wait a minute, I can do this for free? And if anybody tells you that free is a bad business model, they better not be on YouTube for anything, because YouTube is a free business model. Okay? So challenge that guru who keeps telling you that free is a terrible option and free goes out of business and all that crap, because YouTube's free, LinkedIn is free, they have a free plan, Facebook is free, how about Instagram? Free, TikTok? Free. So the free is a good business model. It still lasts. And Spotify for creators, still there. So free is a good option. And if anybody tells you otherwise, then tell them to cancel their YouTube channel and stop being on YouTube, because they are a hypocrite in the moment. I said it. They are living one thing and telling you the opposite. Kind of a do as I say, don't do as I do thing. And those are bad gurus, by the way. Just keep that in mind. Video walked in with YouTube and it was like, hey, I could just host here for free. And in that, people started walking away from a video hosted on an RSS feed. They moved over to YouTube and lived there for free. And in that, YouTube went, hey, all these podcasts, what if we became the home for podcasting? And what if we told everyone that video was a great component to be here on the platform? Makes sense. YouTube wants more content. They want as much content as possible. They want your content. They want my content. YouTube wants content. That's how YouTube survives. That's how YouTube makes money. They host our stuff. They put commercials on it. Bang, bang, we're done. They're making money. Everything's great. The race to video in podcasting is causing some division in the ranks of podcasters. And so for me, here's my attempt. I talked about the Daily Santa podcast. Always audio, never will be video. For me to do video for that show would be a full-on Pixar version animated cartoon. And I'd have to find animation. I'd have to find voices. I'd have to do all this other stuff and recreate it in video format. It's not worth my time. I'm not going to get a return on my investment. Audio only for that show. How to Podcast, Living the Next Chapter, Dad Space, Podcast Editing and Support Show, all these shows that I'm doing and others, some of them lend themselves to video, some of them don't. Living the Next Chapter, my author show. I've had authors come on my podcast and they write under a pen name. They write under a pen name because of security reasons. They don't want people to know where they live. They don't want people to know their true identity, their real name, and what they look like on camera. They will not do a video on my show, a video podcast, because of security. For you as a podcaster to demand that everybody does video is not something that is a great idea, I think, because you're going to A, put people in harm's way, B, you're going to limit some of the people who come on your show who are great people, great messages, it can help a lot of people, and some people just don't want to be on video. You need to look into that and you need to adapt your show if you want those great people on your podcast. So for me, I won't release video for that show if my guest says, Dave, please don't release a video. I make note of it. Future reference, I can always go back and refer and go, oh yeah, this person didn't want video. I'm not going to do little clips. I'm not going to do the full video. I know that. So some people do not want to be on video. I know that's shocking to you, but in a world where everybody's so video focused, some people do not want to be on video, and you need to honor that. And make sure you have that conversation with your guest before you release anything and before you hit record Ask them. Video, yes. Video, no. Audio, what do you prefer? Make sure they know. Okay. Keep that in mind. Video for Living the Next Chapter, I've been doing some. And here's my approach. And you can steal this if you want. I spend the majority of my time making the audio great. I want to make it really, really good. I'm going to remove excessive ums and ahs. I'm going to do that to make my guests sound better than they do in the interview. They're speaking in real time. They're formulating thoughts, and ums and ahs happen naturally because you don't know what your next word is. So you're going to throw in a here and there as you are thinking and processing. It happens. That's human. That's humankind. What's humanity? That's how we are. So to remove every everything, because you say, like a lot, it happens. We're humans. I'll leave some of it in, but in the audio, I try to make it as clean as possible. Take out any bumps, any hiccups, anything that are weird in the recording, and make it sound as nice as possible. Slap on a nice intro and outro music, maybe some sound effects or some things, some whatever in the show to make it a little bit more special. And I do that because I love audio editing. It's what I do best. And it's what I can do for you. If you need help, reach out. Love to help you. So that's my main focus is audio. I get that out. But what I'm finding is when I do more and more interviews, I'm getting further and further away from release date. So I record on this month, but 3 months later, the episode goes live. And my guest is waiting forever for their episode to go live. And they lose the recency of the conversation. They want to share it. They had a good experience, hopefully, on my show. They want to tell people, but waiting 3 months, it kind of dies off. And that love is gone for that episode because they hardly remember what we even talked about. So I want to have a workaround. So what I'm playing with, video-wise, for Living the Next Chapter primarily, would be, and the show, would be a video version of the podcast that goes out sooner than the audio. The audio is recorded, edited, and set for a future date, sometimes months in the future, depending on my calendar. The video, though, I can turn that around quicker. And what I'm doing is creating a video intro and a video outro, and then slapping in the Zoom meeting recording with kind of some frames, the names on the screen, and that kind of stuff. But I have a video intro, the recording as it appears in Zoom, because that's where I use Zoom. I don't use all those other ones because they're too expensive and they don't work for me. And then I have a video outro. I put that together, I build it in Canva, I release it on YouTube, and it's out there. It doesn't have all the edits. It's not super clean. If there's hiccups and big things, I'll try to fix that. But really, it's a very light edit. Out the door, video lives, it's gone. I can then pull out little clips again through Canva. That's where I do my editing for my video. I'll section out a portion of the clip. I'll use the frames. I'll use all the tools built in Canva, create a short, again, in Canva, done. I can do that pretty quickly because I'm not doing a heavy edit in video. I'm not removing it, all the different ums and ahs. I'm not chopping it up. I'm not chunky. It's a continuous flow, barring any major malfunction during the recording. It's as it is. It's out there. Video lives. Boom, it's out there on YouTube. Done. And then I go back to my main focus of audio. That's my approach. So I do get a video component out there. It's not my main focus. I know that in my retention rates on YouTube, my audience doesn't stick around for the entirety of the episode. So why invest all of my time on that video when the audience is not staying with the video long term? The video is important. Being on YouTube is important. An audio version on YouTube is still viable. And I know that because I have over 2,000 watch hours for an audio-only podcast on YouTube, Living the Next Chapter. 2,000 watch hours for an audio experience. There's no video in the early days of the show for Living Next Chapter, but 2,000 watch hours is a significant number for a podcast on YouTube that gets really no special attention. I'm not following any of the YouTube rules. I'm not doing best practices on YouTube. I'm doing thumbnails and show descriptions and trying to be as search friendly as possible, but that's it. I'm not investing any money. I'm not advertising. I'm not hiring those gurus who send you emails to tell you could do better on YouTube. I delete every single one. So if you're listening to this and you're reaching out to me, I can tell you're not paying attention because I'm going to delete your email. I don't care about a YouTube strategy for my show. It's not my priority. Audio is my priority. And that's where I spend the bulk of my editing time, in the audio space. And video for me is an add-on, afterthought. It's not my main focus, but I think it's something that we as podcasters, we're available. We definitely need to have a video component to our podcast. I am leaning more and more as I podcast that our podcast needs to have 3 main legs to the stool of podcasting. If you only have 2, it's really hard to balance. If you only have 1, good luck. 3 is a kind of a typical stool, number of legs on a stool. Okay, I think we need the audio. For me, that's number 1. That's the most important one for me. But all 3 have their place. I need an audio version of my podcast because then it goes to everyone. You don't need a screen. You can listen anywhere. It travels well. A lot of people understand audio podcasting from a listening side. Great. Listening, good. Audio version of your podcast, you got to have it. If you're on YouTube only, I would tell you you need an audio version of your show. It needs to be audio friendly as well, where you're not showing things like, hey, look what I have in my hand right now. You have no idea what I'm showing you, right? Exactly. You need to have an audio version of your show that's focused on audio listeners without the visual. I think that's really important. The second one is you need a video component, whether it's clips, short form, you face to camera. Hey, it's Dave here today. Just want to talk to you about this, this, and this. It's coming up on my show. I just had a great conversation with this guest. Super nice. Here's a link to their website. Looking forward to having them on the show in the future. Face to camera. Real quick, little shorts, boom, bang, out the door, right to YouTube. You can post them in seconds. You're done. I think you need that. I think your audience needs a visual component to what you do. That's leg number 2 for your stool. And then number 3 would be some sort of written thing that goes along with your podcast. That could be simply in your show notes, how you write your show notes. It could be additional information that goes with the podcast. It could be a blog. People still like blogs. I'm not really part of that. It could be a Substack. That's another great option to build community. If you want more than just an email distribution service, Substack is a great way to build community around emails, signups. There you go. Maybe just writing once a week, a kind of a life in the week of Dave type thing. I don't know, something like that where people feel they get value from you beyond the podcast. But tie all 3 together as one component, as one stool. And I think that's something you can stand on as a podcaster. Just having one version of any of those 3, I think, leaves you open to not reaching an audience that would receive your information in different ways. They like to bring you into their world through audio, through video, through words, or a combination of those 3. And I think that's kind of a good approach. So for you as you create your show, don't be overwhelmed. Video is not your first priority unless, here's the caveat, unless video is what you do and you do it well. You already have the skills, the talents, the abilities, the equipment, the knowledge, everything you need to do video, then I would say video won't be your first priority. And that's where we differ. And that's what's great about podcasting. My way is not going to work for you, and your way is not going to work for me. And in that, we have to give space to each other and not realize together that if you have one person telling you there's one way to do something and it's a rule in podcasting, they are not the guru for you because they're leading you down the wrong path. There's many different approaches to this, and that's the beauty of podcasting. So if video is your thing, then start video, but don't neglect the audio side. Have an RSS feed. Have your podcast going out to Apple and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Audible and all these different places. That gives more people a chance to fall in love with you. What's really frustrating for me as a listener and watcher and viewer of podcasts is when I go find you on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this podcast, but I want to listen to it in the car and I don't have a data plan. I would love to be able to download your podcast episode onto my phone through an audio podcast service and then be able to take you with me. That would be great. Or I have a children's podcast and I don't want my kids on the screen watching a video. I want them to listen to a video while they're quietly going to sleep at night. It's a sleep podcast to help kids fall asleep. Last thing I want is some blaring light from a phone sitting next to their bedside table while my kids are supposed to be falling asleep. I want them to fall asleep listening to a podcast. Then an audio version of your show is in high demand and wanted by many, many people. And if I would do video and I do audio, but I don't do anything written, then maybe I'm missing the boat there as well. Is it okay that a podcast is audio? Is it okay that a podcast is video? Is it okay that a podcast and the content for my podcast is written? I think all three are viable. And I don't think there's any one best way. The best way is the way that works for you. Your skills, your talents, your time, your abilities, what you can do with technology. Do you like to write? Do you like to talk? Do you like to do video? We all have different approaches. So don't let somebody change your approach to match their approach, because their approach might not work for everyone. You need to find the one that works for you. So my approach to video, it's an add-on after the fact. Audio is my main focus. Video comes in later. Video is only for people who want to be on video. I don't make it a priority or a mandatory thing that if you're going to be on my Living the Next Chapter, my Dad's Space, my other shows, that you have to be on video, because I'm going to cut off a bunch of people who can't be on the show for whatever reason. It's not mandatory, but I do ask permission. And I only use video when my guest says yes. And I like doing the face-to-camera videos. Those are easier for me in real time. I can capture a thought, put it out online, and be done with it. And I know video does work better on YouTube. I get it. I totally understand. But what can I do with the time I have while still working a full-time job and podcasting on the side? This is what I can commit to in the moment. Will it change in the future? Maybe. But for now, that's what Dave can do. And you can do only what you can do. And don't feel bad that you're not doing what those gurus tell you. Don't feel bad if video is not possible right now. Don't feel bad if you can't create a Substack and do all that. Maybe you don't have time for that. Do what you can with what you have where you are. That's what we talk about here all the time. Do what you can with what you have where you are. That should be your guidance for all that you do in podcasting. And don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like you're not doing enough. Do what you can with what you have where you are. And the rest will all fill into place. If you want to see what I do in Canva and how I do my video editing, I'd happy to do that with you. I can do a screen share, talk you through my process and how I approach it from my side of the screen. Happy to do that anytime. howtopodcast.ca. If you're looking for somebody who can do some of this for you, you don't have time. You're a busy person. You're a coach. You're a business person. You don't have time to do all this editing stuff. I'm always looking for clients for my editing services. Happy to help. And if anything, just keep coming back to the How to Podcast series. This will always be a free podcast for you. It'll always be audio first. And video is there when I have time. I'll show up as often as I can. But it's always going to be an audio experience. That's how I'm approaching this. I still see it as a viable way of connecting with you. And how do I know this is working? Because you're still here. Like, you're still here. So something's working. And I appreciate you for listening this far. And if I can help you in any way, through our meetup group, podcast support, coaching, encouragement, a virtual coffee, you and I together, whatever you need, howtopodcast.ca. Let's get together and chat. Keep podcasting, keep talking, keep sharing, and keep your voice out there. Keep recording. I can't wait to hear what you do next. Take care. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link set up time in my calendar, and in the comment section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need this show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening.